Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1Mby1M Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1Mby1M is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in revenue, annual revenue, and beyond, build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. As you can imagine, we are not trying to venture fund 1 million companies. We are trying to help 1 million companies get to $1 million in revenue. So there's a big difference in the goal and objectives of most accelerators and incubators out there versus us because of that clear distinction in our mission. We believe entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. Financing is optional. Exit is optional. So with that introduction, let me get us going. This is the 449th session of our free mentoring roundtable. This has been going on for a very long time, since the fall of 2008. And over 100,000 people have come to these sessions, and we've had the great privilege of watching an enormous slice of the entrepreneurship universe around the world to see what's going on in different places and add value to the processes of various entrepreneurs in all these different geographies. The roundtable is being recorded. All recordings are available on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtable. So you'll find this one there as well. If you are live tweeting the show today, use hashtag 1M1M. Our Twitter handles are at 1Mby1M and at Thurmont. So you can follow us on either of those or both, and we publish an enormous amount of interesting, enriching content there. These are the call-in instructions. This is a roundtable, not a broadcast. So we want you to participate as much as possible so we have a chance to dialogue with you. We want you to introduce yourselves either in public chat or by calling in, so we get to know you a little bit. There is a clear networking element to these sessions where you get to, tell us what you're doing, what your issues are, what kind of things are you struggling with in your entrepreneurial journey, and see if we can help you remove those obstacles. I'm going to set some expectations for the presenters. For both this session as well as future sessions, so many of you who listen today and are going to decide or not to pitch in follow-on sessions, please be aware that this is a safe working session. We are on your side. 1Mby1M is squarely on the side of the entrepreneur. So we are trying to help you accelerate your journey, and that's about all we do. There's no other agenda here. So don't feel nervous, don't feel defensive. Just, listen to the feedback and decide how you want to process that feedback, use that feedback in designing your strategy. Strategy is really important. Our philosophy is strategy is really important, and if you can get strategy right early on, your chances of failure get severely slashed. And that probability game is what entrepreneurs play, is to maximize the probability of success and minimize the probability of failure. Entrepreneurship, unfortunately, is a very low probability success game. A lot of entrepreneurs end up failing, and what we're trying to do here is improve the odds in your favor. Now, as you go through the session or any of the future sessions, you may disagree with the feedback that you get today, but that's okay. It's your venture. You are the ultimate decision maker on strategy. Listen to the feedback, process the feedback, try to understand where it's coming from, and then make your decision. You will decide where you want to go eventually. Remember one thing though, not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses should raise money, and raising money doesn't guarantee success. That is actually a truth for the industry, and you're going to have to factor that into your journey to be successful in this game. All right? with that, we're going to start with Peter Young. Peter, please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Good morning, Thurmont. Thurmont, sorry. This is Peter Young, and my business is Mid-Atlantic Amateur Radio Service in Thurmont, Maryland. Next slide, please. My value proposition is I've identified a niche in the amateur radio repair market. There are three major brands of amateur radios. They're dominated by three Japanese brands, and they last a long time. The factories stop supporting them after about 15 years, but they can last as long as 40 years or even longer. So I concentrate on repairing those older than 15 years. And I scour the world using my experience as parts procuring that I learned while working at NASA. And I round up all these obsolete parts that I use to repair these radios. Next slide, please.
Interesting.
My target customers in Maryland alone, we have 11,600 hams approximately, and there are over 700,000 in the United States. I'd like to expand my marketing to reach the eastern half of the U.S., and I have a couple of ways I identified to do that. I've really been asking a lot of friends, doing internet research to look for other competition, and I really don't have any, at least within 1,000 miles.
Can you define licensed ham? What does that mean? I'm sorry, it's the terminology that I'm not familiar with.
I'm sorry, repeat that. The audio is not very good.
I don't understand what licensed hams means. It's not a terminology that I'm familiar with. So if you could please explain.
Oh, okay. An amateur radio operator is somebody who has an FCC license for which they had to sit for an exam, an exam with technical and questions regarding the law, law regarding Part 97 of amateur radio regulations. So we really have to know what we're doing in order to get a license. We have to demonstrate technical competency.
So that is a word used for radio operators?
Pardon?
Ham is a word used for radio operators?
Yeah, actually, slang term. It's actually amateur radio.
Okay.
Amateur radio operators.
So these are,
but
this
is
is basically
commonly,
what you're showing is your competition.
Pardon?
These are your competitors.
No competition in the repair of these radios that I concentrate on. I don't see anybody else out there.
Here's what I'm struggling with. Is this your target customer base? Is this the customer base to which you supply parts, or is this your competition?
No, my customer base are the amateur radio operators in the United States who have radios at least 15 years old, and in my experience and those of others, roughly 30% of the amateur radios in use are at least 15 years old.
So this is your target customer base. This 11,600 in Maryland and 710,000 in the United States. This is your target customer base?
Yes, and about 30% of those have radios that are at least 15 years old, and those are my potential customers.
Now, why do you have this line about exhaustive research shows there is no competition in your niche within 1,000 miles? Is it important that you have to be within 1,000 miles? I mean, if you're doing an internet business, if somebody needs a part or needs your service, they can work with you remotely. They don't need to be in your geography, right?
No, actually, the 1,000 miles is I will work on anyone's radio anywhere in the country, but I looked everywhere in the country, online and in advertising to amateur radio operators and word of mouth, and at least within 1,000 miles. And there may be a couple of others in the country, but nobody's doing what I'm doing.
Okay, so
there may be a good reason for that.
If I'm reading the slide right, there are 710,000 amateur radio operators who are in your target customer base all over the United States, and 30% of the radios in use are at least 15 years old. That constitutes your target customer base. I can ignore the 1,000-mile issue.
Yes, you can.
Got it. All right, let's go.
Okay. My customer acquisition strategy is primarily word of mouth. People come to me. Satisfied customers come to me and they tell their friends, and I get referrals from all over the place. And I cannot keep up with demand. I do have an ad that runs in an amateur radio newsletter, which they run for free. The circulation is small, only several hundred. And when I go to amateur radio events, I pass out flyer and business cards, which I've stopped doing actually because I can't keep up with demand. And I have a Facebook page that's not very good. I'm not very good at Facebook. I need to just create a website from scratch. But it's primarily word of mouth. People come to me. I have 32 customers. All but one were happy. I have at least 5 who are in the queue, and several others I get emails from wondering when I'd be able to do work on their equipment. The average deal size is about $125. I try to keep my prices down so they're affordable. Maybe I'm keeping them too low. I don't know. My first year went pretty well for the first 6 months. And then I became very ill with 3 different illnesses at the same time, which simply prevented me from working. I had no energy and couldn't concentrate or think straight. So it was a good start. 3,400 in the first 6 months, and then the rest of the year zilch. 2018, 0, and up until about May, I couldn't work, but now I'm pretty much recovered, and I've made $522 so far this year.
Okay.
My biggest challenge is my efficiency, my time efficiency. I lack the test equipment that I need. So I have to improvise and MacGyver measurements and, jury rig test setups with the equipment that I have, and I can take hours sometimes. And I'm in a cramped space right now. I'm operating out of my home, and I have 2 proper service benches, so I can only work on 2 radios at a time. And I don't know.
Where are you located? Are you in Maryland? Is that why you use Maryland as a proxy?
What about Maryland?
Are you located in Maryland?
Yes. Okay.
So, Peter, if you do a few things right, I think you can build a very nice business with this, and I'm pretty sure we can help you through that. I'm going to itemize what are the things that you need to do to build this business. I think you've identified a very cool niche because it's very low competition. It's something that is very, very niche, and this kind of niche businesses, if you play your cards right, are very defensible, and you can build a very nice business for yourself if you do a few things right. So there's a bunch of items. So let me talk about them.
Okay.
And they will be in a couple of different categories. First category is the demand generation and the business generation. The second category is the demand execution of what you have on this challenges and questions slide. You don't have, on the challenges and questions slide, you have not put the demand generation question at all, but I think you need to think about the demand generation question quite
what generation?
Carefully.
I'm sorry, what generation?
Demand generation.
Oh, I have more demand than I can handle right now.
So if your question is, how can you hire a few more people? I mean, what do you need? You need a desk space where a person can work on, a trained person can work on a unit, right? That's really what the execution space that you need.
Yeah. My biggest problem comes down to money. I have zero. My credit is effectively zero. And I need to find a way to get back to the way I was in the first 6 months when I was generating just enough to buy very high-end non-working test equipment at auction and repair it to improve my business. I was kind of on a roll for the first 6 months. I had kind of a routine or a rhythm going, and I'm kind of struggling to get back to that. But I'm starting from a point.
Peter, I can teach you strategy on how to build a business, especially if you want to use technology to scale your business. What we cannot do is manage your time. That is something. If your main issue is self-discipline, I don't think we can help you with that, because we're not going to sit there and help you manage your time.
I understand that. I'm clear on that. Yes.
So if you cannot, there are only a few ways to scale in terms of operational scaling for what you're trying to do. You either need to hire and train somebody, or you just need to do this sequentially and finish business, get paid, build up money gradually. If you have if you're saying that you have no demand generation issue and the only issue is fulfilling the demand that you have, then you just have to manage your time. There is nothing else to do there.
Okay. How about the question, generally speaking, can you give me some sort of yardstick? Like, say an old radio's value is, for example, $500. Should I consider trying to limit the amount of money I could charge for this, or say be beyond this percentage? I'm telling the customer now, be beyond this percentage of the radio's value. It's beyond economical repair.
The real question you need to address to answer that question is, why do people want to repair 15-year-old radios or 30-year-old radios? What is the motivation?
Because it's a lot cheaper than buying a new one.
If that is the reason, then you can charge very little, because today people can buy a new radio for almost nothing and they can listen to radios on the internet. So I don't think that is the reason why people get old radios repaired. People are getting old radios repaired for collectible reasons. Maybe they have emotional values. Maybe they're collectors of old radios and stuff like that. Those are the kind of people who would spend money to get an old radio repaired. Otherwise, I don't see any case. Because it's cheaper to get an old radio repaired than buying a new one, that is not the reason why people are getting 15-year-old radios repaired. I can guarantee you that's not the reason.
Okay. A typical radio new is about $1,000 to $5,000 or $6,000.
No, it's not. You can listen to radio for free on the internet.
No, I'm not talking about listening to the radio for free. I'm talking about talking around the world on your own radio.
Okay, so we're talking about two different things here. I'm sorry I missed what kind of radio. So let's level set here. What kind of radio are we talking about?
We're talking about typically a 100 watt transceiver that can be used to literally talk to people all over the world.
Okay, so when you do this presentation, if you don't talk about what you're trying to do, I had no idea we were talking about that kind of radio. I'm sorry. I think I've completely misread what kind of product we're talking about. Okay, got it. In that case, your question is correct that you cannot charge more than a certain percentage. So what does it cost today to buy a new radio of the kind you're talking about?
Typically $1,000 or $800 to $1,000 for an entry-level radio, and the high-end transceivers are like $6,000. Pardon? $
800 to $1,000. So if you're talking $800 to $1,000, you can charge probably $200 to fix that radio.
Typically, yes.
So that's 200 is 20% of 800, or 25% of 800 and 20% of 1,000. So I think that you can charge if it gives you another 5 years or 7 years of life to that repair job, then you can do it.
Yeah, I felt I didn't have time to put in much of a background on what amateur radio really is. Maybe I should put in a couple of lines about that. We literally.
But anyway, I think the question that you can actually, based on what you're saying is the state of the market, you can build a pretty sizable business doing this job. What you need to do from a scaling point of view is going to need to hire some people and train them on how to do this work. But first, you're going to need to stabilize yourself. It sounds like you right now are a little bit unstable from a business and financial point of view. So you're going to need to just do it one by one and build up some cash. It seems like you have not much difficulty generating demand for this kind of job. If you have difficulty generating demand, we can teach you how to generate demand, because it's not going to be very difficult to generate demand, because it's specialized expertise, it's very niche expertise. If you do a few things right on, writing some content and creating some SEO around it, all that can be done. All that actually, we can even show you how to do it with outsourced staffing, but you have to spend a little bit of money on doing that. So my suggestion to you is you should go ahead and try to finish the jobs that you've been able to get and get like a reasonable number of jobs for the next 6 months and build up a little bit of cash and stabilize your financial situation. And then you should get like maybe a couple of young people in your neighborhood who have a desk to work on at their own homes and train them on how to do this. And that's how you're going to generate scalability beyond yourself. And then on the demand generation side, come back and if you like, you can join our program and we can teach you how to do demand generation. If you can take care of teaching people in your community, a few people, and there are lots of people who don't have jobs, right? This kind of work, if you can teach a few people, to do this job at their own homes on a desk, and if you can keep adding a few people on a regular basis and develop the skill set in your community, we can definitely teach you how to generate the demand to keep that whole workforce fed, because I think that is completely doable. That's where our expertise come in. Online lead generation, online demand generation is something that we can help you learn how to do. That's something I'm very confident that we can teach you how to do, and I think it's very doable for the kind of very niche business that you're talking about. It's doable. But
I'm sure you could. But one of my near-term plans is, if I can generate enough money, is to rent an office trailer that I can put on my property back behind my house and move my operation there, where I can scale it up and bring in a couple of technicians.
You can, but that's going to cost money. You can also
yes, it is.
do it the way I said, is you can, if they have a desk in their house, you can just do that. Here, Maureen is saying our library and YMCA hold programs like this for free. What do you mean, Maureen? Programs like this, like?
But the problem is,
what kind of programs? Learn to do something. So you can find technicians. I think you can find technicians. You can train technicians. People usually have a small desk at their homes. They can do that work at their homes as well. Or if you prefer to do it the way you're saying you want to do it, that's fine too. But if you can get that process in order, come back and join the program, and we'll teach you how to scale it.
That'd be great. The only problem with having technicians work at home is they need access to the sophisticated test equipment that I have.
Equipment. Okay. Well, if you need some sort of a working, a mini factory of sorts, or a mini workroom of sorts, then that your idea would work as well.
Uh-huh.
But I think first and foremost, you're going to need to stabilize yourself.
Yes.
And I think it's a great niche. If you can train up like 20 people to do this work, I'm pretty sure, given the numbers you quoted earlier in terms of how many of these old radios are there. Do you know how many? What is the number? How many radios are there out there that are old radios? You said 30% of radios, but how many? So are we talking 30% of 700,000? 700,000?
Approximately in the U.S.
Okay.
And I've been a ham myself for 53 years, and I know the market and the amateur radio community pretty well, and I'm pretty well known in the community.
Okay. Well, let's say there are 250,000 units out there, and how many? What is the number that needs repairs on a regular basis? You could almost own that market if you can put this business together. And I think we can help you definitely in putting yourself out there from a technical point of, from using technology, using the internet, and what to do step by step. We can shepherd you through all that.
Oh, that would be great. Also, once I get enough money, I could advertise on the very first social media platform there ever was, which was QRZ.com.
The advertising that would help you is Google.
Pardon?
The advertising that will help you is Google AdWords. I think Google AdWords is something that would probably generate very focused leads for you, and
well, QRZ reaches every single ham that has a computer.
Sorry, come again?
The QRZ.com was the very first social media ever, and it's for ham operators, and it has a page for every ham operator in the world. There are about 4 million of them, and any ham with a computer, when they check into QRZ, sees advertisements, and I'd like to put one there.
Yes, but that will not be targeted leads. Not all ham operators have old radios that are breaking down and need help. The advantage of Google AdWords is that people will search for ham radio repair, and you're going to need to search engine optimize your website to be able to, get that traffic in. And so there are service providers on Upwork who will set all this up for you. So there are ways of doing this.
Okay.
Just a second. I'm getting a little bit concerned about all the advising that Andy, you are trying to do here. I'm not sure how experienced a person you are, but you're misleading people by acting like you're the authority on all these things. You're giving bad advice on the public chat. And I would request you to refrain from doing that, because I don't think you know what you're talking about, so please don't do that here. If you continue to do that, and I've watched you do that for many, many sessions already, and that's why I'm asking you to stop doing it. Unfortunately, we're going to have to stop you from joining these sessions if you create confusion here. So, Peter, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in public chat, you need to take it with a grain of salt. I'm trying to steer you in a direction that I think is going to be appropriate for your requirements. I don't have a lot of control over what other people are saying in the public chat, and I don't stand by what the people are saying there. I don't support. I mean, I cannot guarantee that what they're saying there, if you follow that advice, it's going to be effective. I can only stand by the 1Mby1M program. But since this is an open program, there are a lot of people who show up. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. There was one interesting idea, which I've thought of actually, a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel is an interesting idea, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be selling my parts that I have to work so hard to obtain so I can repair my customers' radios. I'm not going to be in the business.
Well, and also, see, the thing is, YouTube channel may or may not work, because if there is a specialized skill set that you're trying to monetize, giving that skill set away on a YouTube channel is not necessarily in your interest.
Yes, that's a good point.
So I think I wouldn't jump to do a YouTube channel without thinking this through.
Yes, and that did occur to me, actually.
Yeah. All right. That's it, I think. I hope that was helpful.
Do you have one more slide up there? That is an example of an amateur radio transmitter, the one with the monitor on it. And
so this is a slide that you should put up. When you do this presentation, you should just put this this slide at the beginning of the presentation to show what is it that you're selling.
Oh, okay. I was just following.
And what is the price point of this? From a presentation point of view, it created confusion. If you put this slide up and say this is a product that costs $800 to $1,000, and this is what I repair, all those confusions would be taken away.
When that was new, that radio sold in 1990 for $5,300.
Yeah.
And I bought it 10 years ago for about half of that.
Okay. Very good. So I think we have discussed all your issues, and I am going to close out your part of the presentation then. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
So,
I'll mute my phone and continue to listen if that's okay.
All right. So moving on, folks, if you like what we are doing here, refer serious entrepreneurs into 1Mby1M. I was very happy today to work with Peter. Peter is clearly a serious entrepreneur who's validated a certain opportunity. He has a lot of issues that he has to work through in navigating his journey. But as you saw, it's a very credible business idea. And he wants to build this business. So this is the kind of entrepreneur. It doesn't matter what your, idea is, as long as it's an idea that can take advantage of technology to build a business, we are happy to help you. Our expertise is in technology and technology-enabled services, and we don't do biotech, clean tech, solar energy, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't do. But what we do very well, and that's all in the domain of information technology. So within that, if you have friends or family who are aspiring entrepreneurs or practicing entrepreneurs looking for help, we are very happy to work with them. Here are the resources. Everything is at 1Mby1M.com. You will find a terrific blog by following which you will learn a lot. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is a series of 12 books. They're all case study-based books. And you can follow those to learn as well. They're all available on Amazon. These roundtables happen every week, and you can come back to as many roundtables as possible. All the recordings are available as well. You can listen to them, and you'll learn a lot from that also. Our full acceleration program is 1M1M Premium. That offers you extensive methodology guidance, a full curriculum, helps with business development. We do strategy consulting sessions like this, but private sessions for our premium members only. And to the extent you, through the program, by learning, by putting the right, putting the right foot before, one foot before the other, and putting a fundable situation together, and we will help you with that. If you get to a point where you're ready for financing, we can also introduce you to investors. We work with a great community of investors. And we help you with media relations. We have a lot of clout in the media. You can use the 1M1M self-assessment, which is a series of questions that you're going to need to answer if you go in front of investors. Investors will inevitably ask you these questions, and our strategy is to have you ask these questions of yourselves and try to answer them before you go in front of investors. So it's proxy, it's prep, it's role-playing, whatever, but these are questions that you need to answer to be able to really build a solid business. If you get stuck on methodology points, you are going to be able to use the curriculum, which is 1M1M Basic gives you access to just the curriculum. This is something we introduced later in the program, in the history of the program. We launched Premium back in 2010 when 1Mby1M was launched. And then over the years, we were getting requests from people that can we just use the curriculum to learn, and can we pay on a monthly basis. So the curriculum only option is a monthly payment option. You can just subscribe for a month. It costs only $99, and you will be able to learn, how to answer these questions, the methodology gaps that you may have. So in any case, whichever way you want to look at it, go look at the website and take stock of the different offerings, see if the program is for you. The program will work for you if you're a good self-learner. So you will have to spend quite a bit of time self-learning. So I told you about the curriculum. You need to put in, 50, 100 hours to stomach the full, curriculum, or the core curriculum, at least a good percentage of the curriculum. We have probably 500 hours worth of curriculum, but if you at least spend 50 hours studying methodology, you will be a lot further along. But you need to adjust your mental model to want to do that. There is no silver bullet in this program. As I often say, I don't have a chip that I can put all my knowledge into and then implant that chip into your brain. That kind of high velocity knowledge transfer we haven't yet figured out. But if you're willing to spend the time to learn, we have figured out methodology. It's working, it's scaling. numerous entrepreneurs are succeeding by following these methodologies. So go look at the website and see if this program is for you. We are very happy to work with you if this program is for you. Andy, I don't think this program is for you, so I would really advise you to look elsewhere for what you are looking for. I really don't think we can help you in any way whatsoever. So in future, don't waste your time here. I don't think this is a good fit for you. The rest of you, the curriculum is fully described on the curriculum page of the website. You can look at that. We teach this as case studies. So we have video lectures that synthesize lessons drawn from the experiences of thousands of entrepreneurs. So we have over 1,000 case studies, and that includes 100 plus successful entrepreneurs that have reached unicorn status. Then we have over 400 venture-funded success stories, and then another 400 plus bootstrap success stories. So we believe, as I said, entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. And financing is optional, exit is optional. So given that is our philosophy, we are perfectly happy to support entrepreneurs who are not necessarily fundable. Venture funding requires that you can go from $0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years, which is extremely difficult to do. Very few entrepreneurs have what it takes to do that kind of a high velocity trajectory. But we really believe that many more entrepreneurs can still build successful businesses, $1 million, $5 million, $20 million businesses, and that's also success. So we have designed the program so that different kinds of entrepreneurs with different kinds of potential can all use the program. Our philosophy, again, is bootstrap first, raise money later, mainly because the industry doesn't support concept financing very much anymore. There was a time in history in the mid-90s to the late 90s during the dot-com boom when concept financing was happening in the industry. It doesn't happen much anymore. Unless you're a very experienced entrepreneur with track record, people are not going to write checks to fund the concept. So it doesn't work. So we don't want you to waste money, waste time and waste runway trying to raise money without validation. All right, so upcoming free roundtables, we have 2 more in July, 3 more in August. That's the summer roster. We also have meetings at Cafe Boroni in Silicon Valley in Menlo Park. If you are local or if you're visiting from out of town and would like to come network, please stop by. I'd be very happy to meet you. Yesterday we had one, and we had a very wonderful discussion with a bunch of, some are premium members who come and some are, considering joining the program or trying to network and so forth. All of that is fine. We have 1 more in July and 1 more in August. Now, Maureen, can we not have maybe 1 more before I leave in August, maybe the 8th of 7th of August or something like that? Maybe we can put in 1 more before I leave for India. I'm traveling. I'm going to India in August, so I will not be in Silicon Valley. But we'll try to give you 1 more if possible. We'll see. All right. That's it. If there are questions, I'll be happy to take them. We do have, so Maureen tells me that we do have a 7th August rendezvous as well. She'll put that in. And if you go to the rendezvous page on the website, you'll find that a registration page for that as well. If you have questions about the program, please contact Irina Patterson. You're very welcome to ask her any questions you may have about the program. And that's it. I'll be happy to answer questions. Andy, you have said a lot of things in this session today, which gives me very good reason to want you to not participate in the roundtables in the future. So I would request you not to come back, and Maureen, I would request you to make sure that Andy is not in the room in the future. Karishma, am I going to have a session in India? What city are you in, Karishma? I'm going to give a talk in India. I'm not going to Pune or Mumbai on this trip. I will be in Calcutta. We have a big session, a big talk in Calcutta on August 22nd. So that's something you will see publicity coming out on in due course. But I'm not going to be in Pune or Mumbai on this trip. I will be in Goa, but I'm not doing a session in Goa. Okay. Maureen, actually, that is a good, what Karishma is asking for is a good catalyst for making sure that you have, you put together the publicity for the August 22nd event and run it by the RKM team so that we can start publicizing that event. Your hometown is Goa? Well, maybe you can give me travel tips in Goa. We're going to be staying in Siolim. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? All right, we're going to adjourn the session. See you next week, and make sure you go to the website and go to the registration page to register for any of the follow-on roundtables. And if you want to pitch, there is an option to pitch. Maureen will get in touch with you with the instructions on how to pitch. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.